How do you feel about Obamacare? How do you feel about abortion? How do you feel about California prisoners getting released from prison? You don't have to make a federal case out of it. Actually, you don't. Someone else has already taken it to the Supreme Court. Today we'll look at how and when the Supreme Court became the powerful court we know today. It started in 1803 with a case called Marbury versus Madison. Who am I to tell you about a case from 1803? As a certified fraud examiner, I get paid to pick apart laws and legal opinions to see what makes them tick. In this case, we'll also be hearing from some original sources and some experts. Our original sources are the U.S. Constitution and the original decision from Marbury versus Madison. We'll also be hearing from William Alstein and William and Mary for our legal analysis. So save yourself a little bit of time. Just travel with me back in time to see when it all began. The year was 1800. Although America was a very young country, we already had two radically different political parties. On one side, we had Federalists who supported a strong central government. On the other side, we had Republicans who advocated states' rights. 1800 became the year where the power shifted from the Federalists to the Republicans with the election of Thomas Jefferson as president. Now, one thing happened that's very important that caused this entire case. When the Federalist President John Adams left the executive mansion, he also left a pretty big mess for Jefferson. The day before Jefferson took the presidency, Adams and Congress appointed 42 Federalist judges. Now, what did this mean for Jefferson? This meant that every law he and his Congress tried to pass was going to get shot down. Jefferson saw this for the obvious legal play that it was, so he instructed his Secretary of State, James Madison, to stop all of those appointments that hadn't happened yet. It just so happened the appointment of William Marbury from Washington, D.C. had not happened, and he was pretty steamed about it getting stopped. He wanted his judgeship pretty bad. He took his case directly to the Supreme Court. He named Madison as the defendant, hence the name Marbury v. Madison. Now, did the Constitution give him the right to the judgeship? It certainly did. Would his appointment have benefited the Federalists? Of course it would have. Everyone expected Chief Justice Marshall, who was a Federalist, to say, "Hey, Secretary of State Madison, give this guy a gavel and a robe and make him a judge already." That's not what he did. He decided the Supreme Court justices were obligated to use their collective brain power and legal knowledge to see if something matches up with the Constitution. This is called judicial review. So the Supreme Court exercised the power of judicial review, and they overruled the former President Adams and Congress. Marbury lost his case. The most important thing that came out of this, however, was a precedent set by Chief Justice Marshall. He really was the first Chief Justice to set his personal political beliefs aside in order to interpret the Constitution as accurately as possible and serve the greater good. Now, Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor says in her book, The Majesty of Law, that Marbury versus Madison is the most important Supreme Court decision in history because that's when the Supreme Court made itself the ultimate interpreter of the Constitution. And we do have a fairly short, slightly vaguely worded Constitution, which helps us mold the Constitution to what the nation needs. Former President FDR called our Constitution an elastic document, as did Bernard Schwartz, the historian, who said, the Constitution is designed to meet whatever society needs at any given time. So, whether you're a prisoner in California awaiting your release, or you're just a regular American looking for national health care, you can thank Chief Justice John Marshall and Marbury versus Madison, 1803.